Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to do a video on my top 5 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films. Yes, top 5. So, with the new movie coming out last Friday, today I'm recording this on August 15th. Excuse me, I had to cough. Um, but with the most recent movie coming out last week, I figured why not do a video on now, if I had to rate the movies, where would I rate them? Basically, what you could think of this video like is if you wrapped all the 5 reviews I did of the movies, with my opinion, talking about, the good and the bad, pretty much just wrap that into one video here. So basically, for the people who like the short and sweet sort of reviews, hopefully you'll get that here. And I would think you would, because I know some of those are about 20 to 30 minutes apiece. And I know maybe that's too long for some of you, but hopefully this will be in a better time constraint, hopefully. Now, again, starting right off the bat, I've already disabled ratings and comments for the sake of, A, I don't believe in the YouTube rating system anymore. Never have since the 2010 change from the stars to the likes and dislike. Hated it. I think it means nothing. And as far as the comments go, it's partially on YouTube again, because with Google Plus and having that stupid notification bell, I like to see stuff that I like to get notified about shit that's important. I don't want to sit here and get notifications on your top 5. I mean, if you want to comment that to me, like on the fan page or personal message or whatever, if you need to contact me about this sort of deal, by all means, feel free. Or if you want to just say, I saw your video, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. So I'm not censoring anybody's opinion. Again, if you want to make your own fucking list, make your own fucking list. Make your own top 5. But again, I really don't want to hear anybody else's opinion about it on my video, like on my comments section. If you want to make your own video, that's fine. Or if you want to write to me, like in a personal message or however you want to do it, that's fine too. But it's just the fact of I don't want to get a notification every time somebody has something to say, or especially if I have to respond to somebody. It just works better this way. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's because of this certain opinion you're going to have in your list. Again, it's my list. You can make your list. I'm not censoring you from talking to me. You can come personal message me if you have a problem with something on my list, or if you have something you like to talk about or something opinionated. Granted, I can't promise you I'll have the time all the time, but I'll at least possibly consider it. But if you want to make your own list, you don't like my list, make your own damn list. You know? Just want to get that out of the way, because I know there are people out there who, ooh, look at this, he's censoring me because blah, blah, blah. It's like, really? I'm not some big, huge, popular YouTube person who won't ever get to your messages. I can read them. I will get your personal message. I will most likely read it. Unless I just read the first sentence and it's like, okay, yeah, this is just like spam. Don't really want to read it. Don't care to read it. But just wanted to do my personal opinion top 5. I know I'm 4 minutes in, still haven't done it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 5. We'll go 5. Basically, it's kind of like best to worst. Or, excuse me, worst to best. So 5 being the worst, 1 being the best. So, here we go. Number 5 is, quite obviously, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. And again, if I didn't mention this, this is going to be all the films, again, top 5 films as far as the 5 theatrical release films. I don't remember if I said that. Talking about the comments and the rating system, I don't remember if I said it. But if I didn't, top 5 theatrically released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. So, number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. That movie was a big piece of shit. I did a fucking rant on it. I probably didn't even do that one justice. I probably could have done even that one better. But regardless, yes, I did make a video on it. If you want to check it out, you want to know why, I think it's pretty obvious as to why. Bad jokes, bad looking costumes. I don't even remember who did the costumes, but it wasn't Jim Henson Company. I forget who it was. I think it was like, I want to say like Living Color or Color Dreams, but I know that's not the right company. I can't remember what they were called though. But it was some company I'd never heard of. You know, definitely not Jim Henson. That's for sure. But the pros I had for it, okay, it got the voice cast back except for Raph, which I still prefer the second movie's voice cast, but I'll get into that when I talk about that real quick. But there's nothing good about this movie. No memorable enemies. No real memorable anything in this movie. The best thing about the movie is Casey Jones. For the 1 minute he's there. Other than that, the movie is very forgettable. It's very boring. Jokes are bad. Suits are bad. And I'm sorry, the voices to me are subpar. I'm still not the biggest fan of Corey Feldman's voice. I don't have anything against him as an actor. But to me, Corey Feldman is a name. You know? And I think that's one of the reasons people are like, oh, he's a good Donatello. You mean just because it's Corey Feldman? I'm sorry, no. That Adam, whatever the hell his name was from the second movie, I thought was way better. I thought they wrote his character way better. I can't even remember if they wrote Donatello's character properly in Ninja Turtles 3. Because I think I've only seen it once or twice. I literally could not give a shit to watch that movie ever again. It sucks that hard. Fuck that movie. Best thing about it, Casey Jones. Elias Cote is coming back as Casey Jones. That's it. So, there's that movie. Number 4 is TMNT 2007. Yes, folks, I'm going there and saying that it is the next worst, I guess. And not because it's a bad movie, but more because it's a forgettable movie. It's a movie that nowadays is swept under the rug, especially with this new Ninja Turtle movie out. I think that movie was, the 2007 one, I think was way overhyped. I don't think it was nearly as good as a lot of people made it out to be. Granted, there is one good thing about it, and that's the Raph and Leo fight, but that's all everybody talks about that movie. Other than that, and then Casey Jones and the Night Watcher, I like that. I wish there was more of that in the movie. And then the Raph and Leo fight. I wish there was more of that stuff than what this movie actually had. Even though I liked all the characters, as far as the Ninja Turtles were concerned, the story was just, it was forgettable. Story was forgettable. Main villain was forgettable. All that stuff was forgettable. It has good CGI. I like the CGI. I think it works for this movie. But it's just like, why? Why bother? Why should I bother to even really watch this movie again? I mean, it didn't even have a memorable villain. I can't even tell you his name. He's that fat guy, that fat general guy or whatever, who was like, oh, he like sets these monsters free or something for immortality. It's like, what? And then like at the end, spoiler alert, I guess, but at the end it's like, what, doesn't he turn to stone or something? Like, it's so forgettable and it's over within like no time. It's like, oh, I thought the movie was still gonna go on. It's like, it doesn't even feel like it's over. It didn't even feel that intense. It had some good scenes. I mean, the best thing about the movie is the fight scenes, but the Raph and Leo fight scene, like everybody says, is the best part of that movie. It is one of the greatest fight scenes in the franchise as far as the theatrically released film history fight scenes go. It's a great fight. But, you know, as far as this goes, like as a movie, it's just like, don't really care about it, you know? And I didn't see this when it came out. I think that's why I don't have as much hype and much love as much love for it as everybody else does. I think it's very, very overrated. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think it's overrated. It does. It has one of the best fight scenes in the franchise, but that's not enough for me to be like, oh, I'll watch it again. I'll go on YouTube and watch the Raph and Leo fight. That's what the problem is with the movie. It's just like, why would I bother to watch it again? You know? So again, TMNT 2007, I like the CGI. The voices were alright. I didn't have a problem with the voices. The Night Watcher, I think, was the best thing about it. You know, Night Watcher, Casey Jones, and the Raph and Leo fight scene. But other than that, I don't think Donnie and Mikey are given much to do. You know, and I hated the fact that it felt like a kid's movie. Like, I wish it still had some grit to it. I understand it's Ninja Turtles. It is for kids, or it's for kids and adults, let's be honest, folks. I mean, there are, especially if you read the comics or you know, watch even the original movie that was based on the comics, you know? I mean, you see how serious they can make the film. I mean, they could have made it a little more serious, I think. So, I'm not saying I'm not saying everything has to be serious. I'm not saying stuff can't be goofy. But it's just like there's, you know, a line between Christopher Nolan's Batman gritty and just dark and gritty like Ninja Turtles, the 1990 movie. You know, there's a big difference. So, I just think the movie is a little too goofy. It's too forgettable. You know, it feels like one of those things. It just feels like a kid's movie. I mean, it is a kid's movie, but what I'm saying is it feels forgettable because it is forgettable. Like, it feels like a kid's movie because it's so forgettable. And, like, I think only kids would like it because it's like, oh, yeah, I love that because I grew up on that movie. Which, surprisingly, could be the truth since that movie is 7 years old this year. Which makes me feel even older. Can't believe it, but there you go. Ninja Turtles, or TMNT 2007. Did that. Probably actually spent almost as much time doing that as I did my actual review. I think on my actual review I'm a little more lenient on it, but it's kind of the same thing. I talk a little more about, I think, some other stuff, but basic gist. So, there you go. Number 4, TMNT 2007. Not a bad film, but it's forgettable, and it feels lackluster. Number 3 is definitely one of the reasons that I think people are going to, I think, hate on me. Because, honestly, the movie is still good. I'm not one of those people that has a problem with the movie. Because I know there are people that don't like this movie, and that's fine. If you like or dislike any of these films, that's fine. But, again, this is my opinion for my list, and these next 3, well, the next 2, I think, are touchy, and I think the number 1 is pretty obvious. But I think these 2 in particular that I'm going to rate, obviously you know where I'm going with this from number 3 on. But, yes, I am going to put this here instead. TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze. Yes, I think the fucking Michael Bay movie is the Michael Bay produced movie. I think we all forget that it was directed by fucking John Liebsman. The guy who did Battle Los Angeles. Which was actually a pretty underrated movie, I think. You know. But, yes, I think the Michael Bay one's better. Fucking sue me. Does the Michael Bay one have a lot of problems? Yes, but so does this fucking movie. The movie has great suits. This movie has great voice acting. This movie is nice to look at. It's appealing on the eyes. It's colorful. It's got a lot going for it. I can't name a bad actor in the movie. I mean, personally, I don't see any. I do have problems with the Michael Bay produced movie. The TMNT 2014. Yes, I do have problems with it. But this movie has so many more problems than that one. Just for the sake that Shredder is in this movie, and he does not fight at all. But somehow this movie is praised. Granted, it's got great suits, great voice acting. I think great acting all around. I didn't really find anybody having a problem with the acting. Ernie Reyes Jr., he was great as Keno. He was cool. He was a good martial artist. And for them making this movie in a year, it's good enough. For me, personally. It's a good enough film to deem, to me, good. But there's one thing that pisses me off that I'll never get over about this fucking movie. And that is you put Shredder in the movie and don't give him anything to do. It's goofy, which is another thing I don't really care for about it. The Ninja Turtles don't use their weapons. That Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go. I don't have a huge problem with the song, but I know some people do. And the fact that, Shredder doesn't fight, it's really goofy. Like, I don't know if it's as goofy as TMNT 2007. I'd say it's about on par. Might even be more goofy. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that right now. This movie is more goofy than that. Like, I thought that was a kid's movie, and it is. But this is so goofy. It really is. And Shredder looks badass, and it's like you want to see him fight, and he doesn't fucking fight. Why? Why even waste the screen time? Yeah, let's put Super Shredder in the movie. That was pretty badass. Does he get to do anything? No. I'd rather they not focused, even if they couldn't use their weapons, even if the parents complained, oh, the weapons, oh, they're called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and yet you're sitting here being like, oh my god, they're using weapons. But at least all the other movies, there's at least something there. Well, with the exception of Ninja Turtles 3, that has nothing. I'm sorry, Ninja Turtles 3 is a piece of shit. It is. The Michael Bay movie is not as bad as Ninja Turtles 3, and all of you guys that are saying that, you are honestly... No. No. Take that plot line, take the exact same thing, and take the Ninja Turtles out, you wouldn't like the movie. You take the Ninja Turtles out of both movies, and you say, which movie is better, this movie or this movie? You're not seriously going to tell me that Ninja Turtles 3 is more appealing than the Michael Bay movie. And that you'd rather watch that. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't like Michael Bay, and that's fine. You can like or dislike whatever movie you want. But you're not seriously going to sit there and tell me that that movie is better. That Ninja Turtles 3 is better than the new movie. I'm sorry, you're going to tell me that's more entertaining? Really? No notable villains, shitty looking suits, and I don't give a shit. Even if they did not do shitty suits, which there were no reason they did shitty suits in this movie. Other than the fact that, they had it handed over to a different company. But the movie had like the same budget, if not maybe a little less, than Ninja Turtles 2. But it's Jim Henson Company. But that didn't make the movie. And that's what I'm saying about this Ninja Turtles 2. It has great suits. It's got great voice acting. It's a great movie for something that was done in a year. But I'm sorry, there could have been more martial arts done in the movie, which I know people are going to rip on me for. Oh, but you like Michael Bay's movie where there's no martial arts? It's not even the fact that it doesn't have martial arts. Because it's not really about that. I'm just saying, if you can't use the weapons, then put in some good martial arts scenes. And granted, there are some. There are. From Keno, there are some good scenes in the movie, But when I'm going to watch a movie like this and I want to watch Shredder again, and he's not in it, really? He's not really in it. He could have been taken out because he didn't even fight. So to me, the movie is as pointless as TMNT 2007. It really is. It's an entertaining movie. It's better than TMNT 2007, in my opinion. But the movie is too goofy. And I'm not even really ranting on this. You want to see my actual review for the movie? Go see it. I'm not hating on this movie. But there are a lot of problems with the movie. It's not perfect, like a lot of people want to say that this is a great movie. It's, you know, if you want to say it's better than the Michael Bay produced movie, okay. I can understand TMNT too. If you noticed a cut there, or dead silence for a second, it's because I had kind of an interruption. Uh, Somebody happened to have come home, and I had to help them with a couple of things. And I decided to visit with them since they had just got home. So I figured I'd finish. That's why the tone of my voice sounds a lot different right now. It's quite a few hours later, probably like 6 hours later. I just had a lot of things to do this evening and really didn't have time to finish. So I guess what I was saying was, about the whole Ninja Turtles 2 thing. Again, I do think it's kind of crappy that they don't fight Shredder. It is. It's annoying. It really is. Because it's like, why even put him in the movie? And I said this in my review. You can watch my whole review on it. Actually, out of all the reviews, Ninja Turtles 2 has the most views, but I only believe it has that many because it has such a long title. People think it's the movie, even though you can look at the timestamp and it's not as long as the movie is. So I think it's just a false perception. But regardless, I'm glad that one has, quite a bit of views. But my other ones have pretty decent views on them as well, which I appreciate. But there's Ninja Turtles 2 for me. That's number 3. Then we go on to the most controversial and the most upset people have gotten with me for. And that is because I actually enjoyed TMNT 2014. Because I'm actually going to put this higher up. Now, could this be hype? I'm not going to say it's not hype. I'm sure hype has a little bit to do with it because it's fresh, it's new. But I'm sorry, this movie actually had stuff I wanted to see. Like, Shredder and Shredder fighting and doing cool stuff. So you already know what the number 1 is, and if you want to just, skip through this till, whatever, because I know there's going to be a lot of you who don't want to hear me talk about the new movie. But I'm going to talk about it anyway, because why not? The new movie is not that bad. Does it have problems? Yes. But as far as an enjoyable experience goes, and entertaining and fun, this movie was all those things. Those other Ninja Turtle sequels, they don't do it for me. They don't. Not in the fun factor. Not to say they didn't have good moments, or maybe they aren't good films. They're decent. And I'll go as far as say I like Ninja Turtles 2. I don't like the fact Shredder's not in it, more or less. He's not in it. He's there, but he's given nothing to do, so what's the point? It's like, why even bother? Even Tatsu's given nothing to do. I don't even think he fights at all in the movie, does he? I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I don't think it's been that long. And it's kind of a minor detail anyway, but I can tell you right now, I know from memory, Shredder does not fight anybody in the second movie. And that's annoying. At least he's fighting in here. Oh, he looks like Megatron. I never thought that. I think people are only getting that. Again, I've always said that about this movie. You take out the name Michael Bay, and you take out the Megan Fox being in the movie, replace Megan Fox with Emma Stone, and replace producer Michael Bay with somebody else, and this film would have been a lot better received. Does it have problems? You know, the Ninja Turtles being superheroes or whatever? Yes, I do agree with that. I do think them being Hulk Turtles is kind of annoying in a way. But I hate to break it to you, but it's 2014. We're not going to get Jim Henson suits like a lot of you guys think we need. Granted, I don't mind the suits, but you're not going to get them. It's 2014. CGI is all the rage. That's all people ever want to do is CGI. Because I think, you know, kind of like back in the day, it's just the polar opposite. Where it used to be cheaper just to do practical effects, because either CGI really didn't exist, or it existed but it looked so crappy, you were better off doing a practical effect. And plus it cost money. You know, you look at Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, they use a 15-cent piece of plastic or whatever to do the Freddy effect in the wall, and it looks awesome. And then you look at the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake, and it looks like crap. So yeah, there's some things that look good and some things that look like crap. But at the end of the day, people are still going to substitute CGI for a stupid 10-cent practical effect. Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that 10 cents is not cheaper, but what I'm saying is it's just, I think from a marketing and business standpoint and a lot of stuff that most of us probably don't know that goes on behind the scenes, it's probably easier nowadays because of how fast we have computers. You got rendering farms, you got all these kinds of things. It's probably easier to make CGI stuff. That's why everything's CGI. When you have a rendering farm, for those of you guys who don't know what a rendering farm is, it's basically a bunch of computers that, well, when you know, like whenever you make a video on your computer and you save it, that's called rendering. So we have these things called render farms. And things like Toy Story and all those other animated movies that most amateur animators are like, how do they pull this kind of stuff off? Because they have stuff like rendering farms. So it's easy to make a CGI effect with really little to no effort. You know, do the effect, and then, you know, edit it and slap it together in a movie. You know, and that way they don't have to hire a prop coordinator or whatever. Yeah, they have to hire a animator, or they have to hire this or that, but it's really not that complicated. And trust me, I've done you know, 3D modeling and all that kind of stuff in college. So I have dealt with it. And I think if I was a professional, I think it'd be quite easy. It's not easy for someone who's just doing it for fun in a class, but if you're a professional, it's not really that hard. You know, make the skeleton, make the wireframe, then skin the model. You know, some of that, you know, you got to be kind of an artist in a way to do it, but, you know, people can make it look great. So, again, CGI Turtles does not bother me. The fact that CGI is used quite a bit in the movie doesn't bother me. Again, the Hulk Turtle thing kind of bothers me, but I found it to be entertaining, and that's more than I can say for a lot of these other movies. I at least remember a lot of the stuff that was in this movie. I can't hardly remember anything from TMNT 2007 other than the Raph and Leo fight. It's just that forgettable. And the Night Watcher stuff and Casey Jones. You know, and I already knew it was predictable. I already knew that Megan Fox wasn't going to go for Will Arnett. He was just kind of there. Because they're going to have to do the love interest with Casey Jones. And you know, it'd be even worse as if they make it Shia LaBeouf. You know, could you imagine that? Shia LaBeouf, you know, and Megan Fox being on the screen again. And I swear, I don't think I will like this anymore if that happens. I mean, that's pretty bad. You know, and mark my words, you know, it'll probably end up happening. Like, it'll just be a freakish accident that Shia LaBeouf will play Casey Jones. Because he's got that long hair now. You know, if you've seen him, you know, they'll try and be like, oh, here's a throwback to Casey Jones from the 90s movie, but it's Shia LaBeouf. Like, no. But I mean, like I said, I found the movie to be entertaining. I know a lot of people disagree, and that's fine. I'm not going to agree with everyone on everything, because guess what? That'd make everybody stale. That'd make everybody boring. I like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Not that many people like that movie. I think that's underrated. I think this one's kind of underrated because, like I said, take out Megan Fox and take out Michael Bay and replace it with, again, replace the producer, let's just say for hypothetical sake, producer is Steven Spielberg and Megan Fox is Emma Stone. This movie would be completely differently received by a lot of people. Again, there's going to be people who aren't going to like those new turtles, the new turtle look. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it never bothered me when I was watching the movie. I said this in my review. You can check it out. Yeah, you don't need me explaining to you every little bits and pieces and things I said in my review. But I stand by what I said. It was entertaining. I went into the movie thinking it should be entertaining and nothing more. I don't, a lot of these people say, oh, it's boring. It's not boring. You haven't ever watched a boring movie before. You want to talk about boring? What's boring? Granted, I'm probably boring, but for Christ's sake. You're acting like this is some kind of opera that you're watching. The Ninja Turtles opera. I mean, seriously. Granted, you don't like the idea that Splinter finds I'm not even going to say it. Just the origin story in general. I don't like the origin story. So you're not alone in that. I'm not saying the movie is perfect. I'm saying the movie is entertaining and nothing more. Is it a good origin story? No. Is it a good adaptation from the original source material? No matter what source material you're picking from? No. Somebody said it was an IDW comic that they sort of ripped off of, which I thought was kind of funny, because I was sitting there bashing those people who are the big hardcore comic people, and apparently this is based off a comic. Again, I don't know how much of that is true, because I don't read those comics. It's just like, why? Why even bother with, if you don't like the movie, that's one thing. There is this borderline between, I don't like this movie, and just some of these guys really need to get lives. And I'm not just using that as the, oh, you're just jealous argument. I'm not just using it as a generic argument. I'm using it because it's true. If you don't like a movie, that's fine. But if you really don't like it that much, why do you keep talking about it? Why do you keep wasting your time? Oh, I gotta hate it. Like everything. Oh, the new song sucks. Oh, the new song's terrible. Remember Ice Ice, or not Ice Ice Baby. You remember the Go Ninja Go Ninja Go? Remember that? That was better. That was cheesy back then. That was cheesy back then. The cool thing was that Partners in Crime song. Oh, hey, Raphael's the leader of the group. Oh, let's not talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. You want to go on talking about how bad some of these songs are. I can't say any of the songs are really that good. They're not masterpieces, at least as far as hip-hop goes. And it seems kind of like an homage in a way. Oh, hey, we're going to do a hip-hop song, because they did one for the first movie, Partners in Crime Turtle Power. The second one was Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice, and the third one was this one. And I admit, they're all catchy. I can't say they're good songs, though. They're not Beethoven. They're not masterpieces, folks. And to say that, oh, this sounds like a generic rap song. This sounds like every rap song today. So it's really not out of the loop. Just like the Vanilla Ice song. That was very generic for its day. It really was. It really was. You think there's people like Tupac, Nas, all those other rappers that were actually good. So it's understandable why people thought that was a mockery of a song. But today, people like Juicy J and Wiz Khalifa are popular. So it's only fitting that they made a song. It's not that surprising. It's not like Lil Wayne and Justin Bieber did a song together. You know, something that's so out of just is out of the blue and random. You know, it's nothing like that. And like I said, I think the CGI is fine. I don't know why people think the CGI is bad. And people wonder why I rate this movie higher. Yeah, it probably is partially hype. But you know what? I already gave the reasons why I didn't like the other ones. I can't say anything after the 1990 Ninja Turtles has really been a masterpiece. They've all had problems. I think the 1991 is the closest that it ever came to perfection. And granted, I did grow up with the 1991, so there's probably a little bit of nostalgia here for me. But these other ones, I really didn't grow up with. Ninja Turtles 2 really didn't grow up with. I still enjoy it. I think it's okay. Ninja Turtles 3 is crappy. And TMNT 2007, I didn't even bother seeing that when it came out. It was like, oh, what's this? You know, it was just like, it was just so random. Because Ninja Turtles didn't even have any hype then. You know, it was on Back to the Sewers and all that other crap on the 2003 show. So it wasn't like it was like super popular and everyone was into it. No one was into Ninja Turtles. It was like, oh yeah, I remember Ninja Turtles were a thing in the 80s and 90s. And that was it. It was nothing more than that. But regardless, I've said all I needed to say about the 2014 movie. I enjoy it. If you don't, that's fine. I know a lot of you don't have good listening ears and probably didn't hear that. If you don't like the movie, that's fine. The people I have a problem with who don't like the movie are the people who consistently, that's all they do, is bash this movie. But now that the hype's died down, no one's really talking about it anymore. Like, the people who wanted to see it saw it, and the people who are hating on it, you know, they must have just ran out of gas. And they're just like, oh, it's not fun to rip on anymore, you know? It's like, oh, we streamed a copy of it online. We watched it. You just wasted your time. You already weren't going to like it anyway, so you just wasted your time. Why'd you even bother? Especially if you already know all these quotes and these facts and all that. Oh, well, we saw it so people can't say we didn't see it and give it a chance. You weren't giving... The whole idea is you're not giving it a chance in your mind. You're not even being open-minded. You're already just going in there saying, this movie isn't going to surprise me. This movie's crappy. Let's start writing notes down about everything that sucks about it. And granted, if you don't like the movie, that's fine, but for Christ's sake, there is a line to draw here and a breaking point. Maybe not for some of you guys. Some of you guys just don't have enough of a life to, oh, this is my life. I mean, it pretty much is. You don't have anything better to do than continuously rip on a movie you don't like. I don't like Nightmare on Elm Street remake. You know what? I watched it once, thought it sucked, and I left. I never talked about it again. And various other films and video games and everything else pertaining to media. I gave up on it. I'm just like, okay, this sucks. I'm moving on. I already mentioned that in that long TMNT video. So you can check that if you want to hear more about that. And finally, getting down to the point that nobody got to because they probably stopped caring. They probably fell asleep or stopped caring or both. But finally, the obvious answer is the 1990 Ninja Turtle film at number 1. And I mean, what more can I say about this movie? This is definitely going to be something short. If you want to see... Oh, excuse me. If you want to see anything more on this, just watch my video. I have a whole big detailed explanation on what I like about that movie. You know, and all the little DVD features, and it was the first DVD I ever owned. So it does hold a little place in my heart. It was a good movie. I can still watch it today and enjoy it. Love it. But you have all these things like, you know, the fact that it was kind of based on the comics. You know, it had a rough comic storyline. It was pretty good. You know, it worked. The film feels dark and gritty. You know, it doesn't, and it's not to say that it can't. It can still work like Ninja Turtles 2, where it was bright and colorful, and you enjoyed both worlds. You know, they still kind of felt like the same world, but the other one just had a lot more color. And this one was kind of less on the bright colors and more on the dingy, dark colors and dark, dank sewers and streets in New York and all that other stuff. And it worked for that film, just like it worked for Ninja Turtles 2. And yeah, it just works. The music, again, this is kind of like what people were saying. Just take Ninja Turtles 1990, remake it with new music, and it'd be a hit. And they're probably right. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, as much as we probably all love those suits, people are not going to care. They're going to start comparing it to things like Spider-Man, Avengers, all these other superhero movies, and people saying, oh, they're not superheroes. Ninja Turtles was a parody of superheroes. You know, the whole reason they were made in the first place, look, just think of something ridiculous and we'll make it. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That sounds ridiculous. And then, from what I understand, Kevin Eastman and Pierre Laird got some money from somebody. I think they were working at McDonald's, and they took their tax refund, or they got some money from somebody or something, and then they made the Ninja Turtle comic. And then it just blew up, I think, with the show. Like, it started to blow up, and then they made a show out of it, and that's when it really kicked off. So everyone knows the show. You know, and people like to say, you know, I like this movie still, but people like to say that, oh, this is why the comics are better, and this is why this was successful, because it was dark and serious. And, see, this was based on a comic storyline. No. This was popular and very successful because it was a Ninja Turtle movie in live action and hit at the prime of Ninja Turtles. Just like anything else you could think of. If they were to make a Dragon Ball Z, if they were to have made a Dragon Ball Z movie back 10 years ago, you know, when Spider-Man 2 was coming out, and they were to use the same kind of effects like CG and whatnot, but do a Dragon Ball Z movie of some kind, that would have been popular. Because it would have been in a really good prime of Dragon Ball Z. Or even in the early 2000s, it would have been good. I just used mid-2000s because it's easier to reference 10 years ago, and at least I could say, oh, I'm referencing Spider-Man 2. You know, in comparison. You know, so it's not really that far-fetched to think that, oh, okay, it's superheroes, it's CGI. Some of this is going to sell today, and some of this isn't. So when you hit something in its prime, and again, a lot of people like to say those Spider-Man movies are bad adaptations, the Sam Raimi ones, that those are bad adaptations. I mean, I enjoyed the movies, but I don't read Spider-Man, so, you know, I don't read Ninja Turtles either, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not the same. Ninja Turtles the comic book and Spider-Man the comic book, and you trying to adapt one another, is two different things. People who know Spider-Man probably read Spider-Man comics. Not everybody. And I think the vast majority of people that go see the films probably don't, but they have enough in there to help people like Spider-Man movies. You know, as far as like the big superhero movies that were coming out that kind of made superhero movies getting to be mainstreamly made, were movies like Spider-Man. Granted, yeah, it was like that with Batman 1989, but those movies started having problems. You had Batman Returns, it's too dark. You got Batman Forever, it's too goofy. Then you got, like Jim Carrey and the Bat Nipples. Then you got Batman and Robin. Oh, it's way too campy. So you can't tell me Batman did it and Batman helped push it in the mainstream. Because there was a lot of it that people didn't like. And granted, there may be hardcore comic book fans that don't like the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, but at the end of the day, those movies sold. Let's not kid ourselves. Whether you like them or not, they sold. And that's all that matters in Hollywood. And people using this idea of, well, you could have used Jim Henson suits because they look more real. Well, those movies are different. Those kinds of things are different. You're talking about something, again, like I said with the practical effects. Practical effects worked back in the day because it was cheaper. And nowadays, it's a hassle and annoying, and nobody wants to put up with doing practical effects half the time anymore. They want to just do CGI, again, because I said about the render farms. Because you can just have an animator or whatever make it, okay, let's save it to the computer and work on it tomorrow. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's put it in the render farm and render that scene. And just keep doing that. That's how you can crank out all these animated movies that took after Toy Story and everything else. Because they have those rendering farms. And it's easy to animate. It's not as difficult as people want to make it out to be. So it's easier for them to do that with these new Ninja Turtles. And that's just how it is. Would I prefer the suits? Yes, but it's not practical. And I'm not saying that it's not practical because it's not a practical effect. I'm saying it's not practical as in it's not feasible. No one's going to want to see that nowadays. It's going to look dated. And after seeing shit like Avengers and all that, people don't care about Ninja Turtles being ninjas or doing martial arts. And is it sad? Yes. But did it make it any less entertaining? No. And you may think, oh, you're the lowest common denominator because you like this movie. You like the 2014 movie. I still think the 90s movie is better. The 1990 movie is better. And again, that's why I put it as my number one. I don't think that will ever get topped for me personally. This new one I thought did well. I didn't think it had a good origin. I still don't like the look of the turtles, but it didn't bother me like I thought it would. It wasn't worse than Ninja Turtles 3. It was better than TMNT 2007 in my opinion because it actually felt like it had some kind of point. Did I hate the fact that the Foot Clan was military? Yes. I didn't really care for it. There are things I don't care for in this movie, but overall, if I look past some of those things, it was entertaining. Just like when I look past it with Ninja Turtles 2. Even though there's no Shredder fight, guess what? I still enjoyed the movie. I still enjoyed Ernie Reyes Jr. I still enjoyed the voice cast. I still enjoyed the Jim Henson suits. I still enjoyed the film's color, the use of color, and it was still fun. The lack of weapons didn't really bother me that much. Even though I talked about it earlier and said, yeah, blah, 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 they don't use the weapons. But it was kind of a point that I was making. It's like, what do they do? You could compare that to Ninja Turtles 2 and say, well, how much martial arts do they do in Ninja Turtles 2? They're mostly goofing around and feeding them whatever they're feeding them. What was it? Donuts, that's what it was. Donuts. Num-nums. Just stupid shit like that. But oh, it's great. And the new Michael Bay one shit. Like I said, Emma Stone as Megan, or as April O'Neil, and somebody else that's not Michael Bay producing it, it would have got a lot less shit. Or even take the turtle shells off, and for hypothetical sake, call the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Or call it something else. And there you would have seen, oh, it's a hit. But because it's Ninja Turtles, oh. And Ninja Turtles, this new Ninja Turtle movie is still going to be a hit. No matter how much you hate it. You can think the audience is retarded. I'm not going to put it past you. They made 5 Paranormal Activity movies. I'm not going to put it past you by thinking that the mainstream audience is pretty dumb. But again, people like those Paranormal Activity films. I think they're fucking retarded. But you know what? I'm not going to diss anybody for liking them. Because I like this new movie, and I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like this new movie. I enjoyed it. I took it for what it was, an entertaining movie and nothing more. And the 1990 movie, why, it's number 1. You expected it, you know it. You knew it from the number 3 spot. You already knew there's only 2 movies left. What do I need to say about the 1990 movie? It doesn't even need explaining. Those other movies needed explaining because they had problems and they had all these other things. The 1990 movie, the only thing I hate about it is the way they wrote Donatello as a carbon copy Michelangelo. And I love the fact they didn't do that in the new movie. But nobody wants to talk about that because the 1990 movie's perfect. Even the 1991 TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze is perfect. When they're not. Even though I love the first movie and I put it above the 2014 movie, rightfully so, it is much better. But it's not like, oh my god, damn the 2014 one to hell. So again, I think I've vented and ranted and raved and carried on long enough. And again, there's another reason why comments and ratings are disabled. Because all it would be is, why would I want to watch a 40-minute video or however long this video is? I have to splice this stuff together. So, and it's going on 30 minutes right now on this recording. So take 20, 30, or take 10, 20 minutes of the other one. There you go. Around 45 minutes or more. But I'm done talking about this. If you want to let me know your, top 5, or it's not even really top 5. What would you rank the Ninja Turtle movies? And then that's what I did. Again, you don't have to agree. Not everyone has to be the same. But again, just make your own video or write me in a personal message or whatever you want. But I'm not going to enable ratings and comments because I think the rating system's stupid, and I'm trying to keep my notifications window on YouTube clutter-free. I don't need to hear every time someone wants to make a top 5 on this particular subject. And you never know about these videos. Some of them get really popular and some of them don't. I never thought my Ninja Turtle reviews would get really popular, and they did. For whatever reason. Surprisingly, the new one's not quite as popular, but I think because everybody made a video about it. But regardless, I don't need to say anything about the 1990 movie. You guys know why I like it and why most people like it. The origin's great. The cast is good. The voice cast is okay. I still think the second one did it better. But regardless, they're both fun movies. At least the first 3 that I listed are all fun movies in their own way. But they all have problems. They all do have problems. Raffaele's the leader of the group. Yes, I'm going to mention that again because I know there are people out there that just think that 1990 movie has no flaws, and it does. There's even some little animatronic scenes that look like shit, like the one where Donatello pops out of sewer. Let's go for it. It looks like dog shit. I'm sorry, it does. It's one of the few scenes that look like shit. Most of the other scenes are great. But I'm sorry, that one looks like shit. And it's been a long time since I've seen the original Ninja Turtle movie, as far as being what I've seen compared to everything else as far as, modern day goes. But, I think it works for its own thing. Maybe it will look dated if I watch it again. But I think it works. I think it's a movie that it just works. And I think the Michael Bay one will work too. They got the sequel to improve upon it. Oh, they won't redesign the Turtles. Why wouldn't they? You look at Amazing Spider-Man. They redesigned that suit for the better. You know, never really had a problem with that idea. You know, I never really liked that original Amazing Spider-Man suit. I haven't seen the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but I look at both suits and I think the second one was done much better. So they could potentially do that with the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles. I don't even know if he's signed on to do the other sequels or not. As long as Shia LaBeouf is not Casey Jones, then I'll be relieved. Until then, thanks for watching, guys. I know it's long, but thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys for the next video. May or may not be a Ninja Turtle video, maybe a Mortal Kombat video, maybe another review, but regardless of what it is, stay tuned, and I will have a lot more videos coming up soon, because I'm not busy anymore, and everybody who knows on my Facebook or whatever, my personal one at least, knows why. So again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, hope you all have a good day, good night, and, you know, formulate your own opinion. Don't go off what everyone else says. Don't just think the 1990 movie's the best just because I like it the best out of all of them, or this guy likes it the best out of all of them. If you like the new 2014 one, okay. You like the TMNT 3, I think you're trolling. I think there's no way you could be serious. Okay? Sorry. There's no way you could think that's the best. I'm sorry. There's probably somebody out there, and they're probably crazy. Crazier than me. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Peace.